Hi stamping friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Today's project is a gift card holder made with the Snowman Season stamp set and the coordinating punch. I'll also be using the Let It Snow Specialty Designer Series paper. On my blog you'll find dimensions and a complete supply list with links to my online store. There's a link to that post in the video description below. So this was one of my 3 club and free card kit projects for November-December 2019. Now this gift card holder is really simple and easy to put together. It's essentially a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11, and then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches from both ends and 5 1/2 in the middle. We'll fold on the score lines to create the little pocket in the center. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with preparing some of the pieces that go on the front of my card. So I'm punching out a starburst with my starburst punch out of real red cardstock, and then I'm going to use my Memento black ink to stamp the hat for the snowman, or the snowman hat. Now this is a very important little detail here. You will need to stamp the hat upside down so that the top of the hat is close to the edge of your cardstock, and that's specifically so that you can actually reach that part of the punch most easily when you go to punch it out. So here's my punch. I'm just going to quickly show you how it fits in so you can see this is the easiest way to do it. If I had punched on the side of the cardstock or punched it right side up, it wouldn't fit quite properly. So now I'm going to start with my coloring. I didn't punch out that hat quite yet because it's a whole lot easier to color it and be able to hold on to the cardstock with your finger. So I'm just coloring in that whole, the outside of the hat with my dark smoky slate blends alcohol marker, and I'm doing a little bit of shading, but this is a very small element, so it's subtle. And then I'm going to use a couple of my Stampin' Write markers, starting with my real red for the berries on the hat, and then I'm going to use my Coastal Cabana marker for the band across the front. And then last but not least, I'm going to use my shaded spruce marker for the little leaves on the hat. And here I am punching it out. You can see it up close. Now I'm going to set those 2 pieces aside and start by working on my sentiment piece. And I'm going to use my Memento black ink for that as well. I've got a strip of cardstock here that's measured so that I can stamp it and then punch off the edges using my triple banner punch. Now I went ahead and stamped my sentiment in what I thought was the center, and then as you can see I'm pushing up the edge in the inside of that banner punch, punching it out, and what I found was that it wasn't quite exactly centered when I stamped it. So I decided to go ahead and stamp on the back side so that it would be more centered. Now all the elements are finished for the front of my card, so I'm going to start working on the card base and constructing the gift card holder pocket. So first of all, I'm just going to fold my cardstock in half and make sure the corners meet up and burnish that middle fold. And now I'm taking my classic label punch and I'm using my finger along the right hand side to hold and brace the positioning of the punch so that it ends up being even on both sides. And when I'm doing that second punch, I'm trying to make sure that the line of the punch on the right lines up with the previously cut line. So now I'm just folding on the other 2 score lines, making sure the corners line up again, and then burnishing those 2 folds. Now I'm going to attach my piece of Designer Series paper to my real red panel. Now this is a specialty Designer Series paper, so it has glittery elements on some of the patterns. And I'm going to be attaching this real red piece of cardstock to my gift card holder front using Stampin' Dimensionals. Now as soon as this is attached to the front of the card, I'll begin the actual construction and assembly of the inside pocket. And I'm going to be using multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to use it quite sparingly. As you can see here, I'm just putting a little bit of glue on two of the smaller sides of one side and then one of the long sides. I've used my multi-purpose liquid glue sparingly for two reasons. One, I don't want it to ooze out and make a mess, and I also don't want to use so much that I seal the pocket shut. I want to make sure that there's enough room in there to get the gift card in there and the glue doesn't come in too close to the center. So now all I need to do is assemble the front of the card. So I've started with putting Stampin' Dimensionals on the back side of my red starburst punched piece and on the back of the sentiment piece. Now I'm going to put 2 layers of dimensionals on my hat because I want it to stand up a little bit higher than the sentiment. So now I'm just going to fiddle a little bit with the placement of my pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and attach my sentiment piece to the red starburst punched piece, and then attach my hat just above the sentiment. And then I'm just going to bring in some rhinestones to place a few strategically on my little focal piece there. Now I've got a little stamping to do on the inside of the gift card holder. I'm going to start with my Memento black ink and stamp the sentiment. And then I'm going to come in with my Coastal Cabana ink and stamp a few snowflakes as well. And last but not least, I just need to attach my little focal element to the front of the card, and I'm all done. I hope you've enjoyed my project today and will be inspired to go make your own gift cards at home. To learn more about my clubs and free card kit program, click on the link in the video description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today, and happy crafting!